who stepped aside from his position on Tuesday, is set to fight his suspension by a Benue High Court. Makadi Amende, IU Special Assistant on Communication, Simon Imobo Swam, disclosed this to journalists shortly after the party announced the appointment of the Deputy National Chairman North, Omar Damagum Ayu, as the acting National Chairman. Well, could it be that the PDP has missed, this is what some people have referred to this as medicine after death. Why wait until you lose the election before even changing the chairman of the party, which was the bone of contention with the G5 governors there, or the integrity group that led mostly to the loss, recorded by the People's Democratic Party in the just concluded presidential and National Assembly elections, as well as even the state elections. Joining me this morning in the conversation is Emmanuel Ume, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party. We'll look at this. And also, another development in the People's Democratic Party would be the sudden withdrawal of the Imo State PDP governorship aspirant, as it is, who withdrew from the race yesterday. Ihedioha, pulled out of the race and says he would have to focus on other things. He also apologized to his followers and saying that he knows that some of them would be disappointed, but he pulled out from the race. Why did he pull out? We'll find out this morning as we discuss with Emmanuel Ume. Emmanuel, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. Emmanuel, are you there? Okay, seems like the network could do us a strong one now. Let's get back. Let's reconnect with Emmanuel Ume and see what what it is that he would be telling us. By the way, you can be a part of the conversation. Simply call 09073530044. Yes, Emmanuel, good morning. We can hear you now.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, two new developments coming from the People's Democratic Party. Senator Emeka Ihedioha pulled out of the race yesterday for the Imo State governorship, elections. What could have happened? What could be the reason why he pulled out of the race? There are many speculations, but then let's hear from you as a member of the People's Democratic Party, someone who's close to the former governor.
Yes, he's a respected leader. He pulled out for the interest of the party in the state. I'm sure that many people felt surprised that we were together when he told me this decision 2 days ago, and he did that for the interest of the party, especially in Imo State, vis-a-vis what has happened in the last few months during this whole period. I'm sure a lot of people know that he was contesting that election with Sam Dadi, Senator Sam Dadi, who is the National Secretary of the PDP. And part of his grounds were simple. If you know, according to the party constitution, the National Chairman and the National Secretary are the ones that will sign your form, that will sign your clearance form. They are more or less, they are the ones basically in charge. They're like the referees of the primaries. And the conversation was simple. You cannot be the national secretary and at the same time want to become a governor. So you have to resign, at least for fairness. Since it is your signature that is going to be taken to INEC, the signature of the national chairman and that of the secretary to INEC. And, it became an issue. The state ESCO met with the two candidates and then said, for the interest of the party, since it's just both of them, they should have the consensus. They should meet and discuss so that it doesn't create rancor. And at the end of the day, there's peace in the party. But the national secretary did not accept that demand. And, he insisted that the election primaries must go on. So Emeka felt there was no point because vis-a-vis, you can't still be the national secretary and go into an election where it is the National Working Committee that conducts the primaries and you are the national secretary and you refuse to step down, and you're saying that we should still go for that primaries. You know, it doesn't. It's like INEC saying that they want to be a INEC chairman coming to say he wants to be a candidate in an election where he could still conduct. It doesn't show any credibility and fairness. You know, so that was why he stepped out and said, you know, for the interest of the party, you know, I do not want this party to die. I do not want the party to have any issues. I want the party to remain peaceful. You know, I will step aside and allow the process. Since, you know, the National Organizing Secretary insists on contesting, he can now go ahead and contest. And
many will wonder why Emeka Ihedioha did not decide to chase this in court or fight this in court to see that, you know, the secretary maybe either resigns as secretary of the party or, you know, steps down from the race as well, because as it is, it seems like he had a case that could have probably been heard going by the constitution of the party. Are you there? Okay, seems like the network did us in again. We'll try to reconnect with Mr. Umeh and get more of what's happening in the People's Democratic Party in the interest of the party. A candidate, someone who had won the election at some point.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. I said, why waste your time? Why waste your time, your resources, your energy, and say you're going to court, you know, when you know at the end of the day the elections is just 6 months. So the period where the finances that you will use to campaign and go about to prosecute your election, you will waste it going to court. There's no point. So he just felt at the end of the day, if he is not ready to step down, you know, if he's not ready to for us to have a consensus meeting and say, okay, let's even speak as party members, as candidates, as aspirants, and you know, he's adamant about it. So I will not throw away the baby with the bathwater. I rather save the political party and allow it to be peaceful. You know, my ambition is not what the blood of anybody or what, you know, the destruction of the party. So for him, it was about the sacrifice of the party. You know, putting his ambition above that of the, you know, his own, keeping his own ambition, you know, in check above the, you know, the interest of the party. So he just wants the party to go well, the interest of the party, and that was why he resigned. That was why he stepped down from the contest.
Well, looking at pulling out of this, you know, race at this time, what would it spell for Emeka Ihedioha as a politician? As you know, what would it spell for his political career? He may not be able to go to the Senate or even, you know, what would it spell for him? What's next for him?
Can take away from him is that he's a man that is loved by his people. And if you go today to Imo State, you can go and find out from your correspondents in Imo State, the mood of the people. They are sad. They are not happy with the decision that, you know, but it's for the greater good. Sometimes you do those kind of things because you are looking at the future.
Or perhaps he's planning to move to a different party. Can you tell us anything
about
that?
I can tell you, you can quote me and I can tell you authoritatively that he's not leaving the PDP. Authoritatively, he's not leaving the PDP. He's going to be in the PDP. He's not. Authoritatively, he's not going to be in the PDP.
Well, looking at this, could we also draw some inference to the fact that he had won the governorship election, the Supreme Court overturned this? Could it be that he's worried that, you know, at this point, having the incumbent governor, Hope Uzodinma of the APC, he may not stand a chance to win the election in Imo State?
That's not true. That's not true. You saw what happened in Osun. Do you understand? You know, so if you are loved by your people. The truth of the matter is, ordinarily, anybody should think that it should not even be a contest. I do not see the reason why the National Secretary of the party, who is one of the highest, you know, holding one of the highest position of the party at the national, you know, is busy contesting that election with Emeka. If you go on the streets of Imo State today, everybody will tell you that it should be Emeka. So there is no contest. What are you contesting? What is the contest about? You're already the national secretary. And your tenure, you still have about 3 years to go. So it's not like as if your tenure is less than 5 months or 6 months. You still have 3 years to serve as national secretary. So what is the rush about? For me, at that point, you should have just forgone the primaries and then give his support to Emeka and find a way of how PDP can win the state, because in terms of popularity, Emeka is the more popular figure in Imo State today than even himself. So I don't think there's anybody that would have doubted the fact that the only person that would have been able to unseat Hope Uzodinma is Emeka Ejioha. He was somebody that the people voted for. The circumstances that he left the party, it shouldn't even be a no-brainer. No, it should have been an offer of first refusal. Based on the fact that you were unjustly removed, you know what happened. Someone that came fourth became the governor, whereas the person that came first was removed. So there shouldn't have even been a contest in the first place. We shouldn't have even made it to the point where they'll be saying there should be consensus. No. At that point, you're the national secretary of the party. What are you looking for? National secretary is one of the strongest positions of the party. After the national chairman, the national secretary is one of the strongest. The national secretary runs the day-to-day of the office of the party, whereas the national chairman runs, the party at the national. So you cannot say that someone that's holding the national secretary of party of PDP is a small person in that party. He's not. So I do not see the need, if you ask me my open opinion, for him even contesting that governorship election with Emeka. We would have supported him. The end game is to find how we can retrieve our mandate back in Imo State. But what has happened, it seems like as if some people were not happy, or seems like as if someone was doing everything possible to make sure that he doesn't get back his mandate. So he said, "I'm not going to kill myself. Ambition will not make me to kill or jeopardize the interest of the party. I step down, for the interest of the party. At least the party should survive." And for me, I think that's something that anybody should applaud. He has shown that he's not a desperate person. All he's interested in is to serve Imo. And nobody from Imo State can come out to say that in the 7 months that he was the governor, he didn't do well. He did excellently well. He turned around the function of Imo State in 7 months. And that is why his popularity in Imo State is still, in fact, with what he has done today, he is even more popular in Imo State today than he was a few months ago. So it is a temporary setback. And of course, I do not see it as something that would disturb him at the end of the day.
Now, what is this sit-tight attitude in the leadership of the People's Democratic Party? You just mentioned that the secretary of the party had refused to, allow for things to run its course. He wants to still be secretary while running for governorship of the state of Imo State. The national chairman of the party has been made to step aside, also by orders of the court, and now the deputy deputy chairman North is acting chairman of the party. If all of this didn't happen, people have referred to this as medicine after death. Why do we have to wait? Why did the party have to wait till all of this played out like this? Looking at the fact that it also may have cost the party the victory at the polls. Why wait till now before stepping aside?
You see, the truth of the matter is that on both sides, these arguments, the reason of stepping aside, for me, if you look at what the G5 were asking for, it was something that was beyond the constitution of the party. The timing, they were asking that the national chairman step aside, and then the chairmanship should come from the south. Now, what it means is that the party is going to either have another convention to rectify what they were looking for, because the constitution of the party says if the national chairman steps aside, they have 2 vice chairmen. They have vice chairman south, vice chairman north. If the national chairman is from the south and he steps aside, the vice chairman south takes over because he feels that it is the turn of the South and he's running for 4 years. If the chairman is from the North and he steps aside, the vice chairman North takes over. That's why Demago is now the acting chairman, because both Ayu and Demago are from the North. So what they were asking for was almost practically impossible. It's more or less saying you wanted a new convention to bring in the new chairman and then more or less bring in new National Working Committee members. And you had few months to an election. Will you now sacrifice the fact to say, oh, you wanted, if Ayu had left, the truth of the matter is that Demago will still act as the acting national chairman. So it is not left for Demago to now still leave for Arakpaja to act. Arakpaja will only act in a short while because it is the time for the North based on the convention that happened. And this was done because you remember when the former governor of Bauchi State was the chairman of the PDP, and then he left, he resigned. Secondus started acting the national chairman in 2015. And then the late Gulak, God bless his soul, took the party to court and said that it is the turn of the North has not elapsed. And it is still the turn of the Northeast because it was zoned, it is the turn of the Northeast and the North. And then the Supreme Court agreed with Gulak and said, Secondus should vacate that position as acting chairman. And then an acting chairman from the North, and then appoint a chairman from the North. So that was why the party now reworked their party constitution in a way that they now have two vice chairman North, vice chairman South. So depending on where the chairman is from, if the chairman is from the South and then the chairman decides to resign or whatever reason why he leaves that position, the acting chairman will now come from the zone where the chairman is, where the chairman left. So just to be able to take care of that vacuum. So I do not see there was practically on that particular point, except you were saying that you wanted the party to leave the period where it's supposed to go out and campaign and start preparing to do convention. So some people have the school of thought to say the chairman should have resigned. Then I don't know if you can hear me very well.
Loudly, we can hear you.
So that was part of the issues. You know that because are you resigning or not resigning? Ayu has not. He just stepped out because he wanted to respect the court order. People are trying to draw reference with Secondus' case. They are not the same. Secondus had about 3 months to the expiration of his tenure as the national chairman. Ayu has 3 years. So by the time you start doing this court matter, Ayu will most likely have gotten judgment that will make him go back to his seat as national chairman. The only avenue where the national chairman can be removed is through NEC. When the National Executive Council meets and then ratify that he should step aside, and then they will now move for a mini convention which will now be ratified in that mini convention saying that he has stepped aside. Other than that, a word cannot remove the national chairman.
But it's quite interesting because just yesterday as well, the Rivers State governor, who's a member of your party, by the way, was bragging and saying that Ayu has gone in the way of Secondus. I mean, I know that you mentioned that, but then looking at the situation, some people still say, look, Secondus still has a case in court till today. There's a likelihood that Ayu may just have left that position for good and he may not be returning. Now, put this side by side with the fact that your party has a case in court challenging the outcome of the 2023 polls. Ayu is also prosecuting the court, also chasing. He says steps aside to, pursue his case in court to see that he is returned as chairman of the party. Wouldn't this be a bigger distraction for the party as it continues this, this chase or this pursuit of, reclaiming what it calls the reclaiming of its mandate?
Because if you look at it, whether you're for or against, I don't think that the party is going towards the right direction, especially with these distractions, like you said. Leaders of the party, especially the BOT at this time, should come and find a way where they can call for peace at this time, trying to see how they can unify the party. Because at the end of the day, the party it is the party that gives you that opportunity for you to be able to pursue your career or your political career. It's that platform that gives you that. So for me, I believe that the party leaders right now should find a way of seeing how do we go from here. The 2023 election, for me, leaders on both sides must find a way of resolving these issues, because this is not the time for anybody to come around and start gloating. I saw Wike gloating on TV, but of course, maybe he doesn't. I'm sure he knows that Damagu is a strong supporter of Atiku Abubakar. In fact, yesterday it was with Atiku when they broke their fast together. So him gloating about Ayu, Damagu is still a strong supporter or a strong ally of Atiku. So you can still say that if it's about in terms of control, you can still say Atiku still has a certain level of control, because the acting national chairman is still an ally of Atiku. So I don't think this is the time for him to be coming to gloat on national TV and say, oh, you did this, you did that. There's been so much reign of impunity over the years. When they did it to secondaries, I remember I was on your radio station and some of us condemned that attitude and said, this thing that happened likely going to have a spillover, because now everybody will feel that, oh, if you don't do what I intend you to do, I will use the court. And honestly speaking, the courts should help the democratic process of the party. You don't need to keep on interfering in such processes of always wanting to allowing themselves to be used by politicians, because it doesn't even help the democratic nature of the political of this country. For this democracy to survive, you need a strong opposition. So when it looks like as if the judiciary is part of the people that is trying to, whittle down the strength of the opposition, it doesn't help democracy. It doesn't help, development of democracy in Nigeria.
Interesting. We'll be talking more shortly. We'll take a quick pause now. The conversation continues in a bit. We'll be also bringing our callers after this quick pause. The conversation continues. We'll be talking some more about the PDP and its chances, and maybe seeing if it can overturn the outcome of the elections, if the courts can overturn the outcome of the elections. We're talking about the prospects of the party as well going forward. Some members of the party, the governor of Benue State as well as that of Rivers State, have said they're not leaving the party. They're going to be there to restructure the party after all of this is done. Some members of the party as well, the likes of former Governor Fayose, have made statements to say, look, the PDP may have gone in the path of, the wrong path, and they would need to come back strong and resolve all of these issues. The conversation would continue in a bit. 09073530044 and 09087668888. You can also send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 09097054450. Keep it with us.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Both deep in thought. I bet you the driver think this ride shouldn't cost more, and you the passenger are sure you're overpaying. Never mind, let's just stay quiet. Or you can both download InDrive and agree on a fair price beforehand. InDrive. People driven. The InDrive online passenger transportation aggregator is not a taxi service. For more information, visit indrive.com.
Yangabi, only 100 naira, you enter. Anybody can beat. if you win your bid.
You get what you want buy, but you don't get money. Microwave, TV, I mean you want pay never bill. Download Yanga Beat from any online store. With 100 naira, fund your wallet. Choose a plan for your Get Pass. Start spinning and winning. The player with the highest number wins the bid. Anything what you want buy, you can bid it and win it. Yanga Beat, Nigeria's online marketplace.
You can call us on 091 3000 2014. 091 3000 2014.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Join the Eagles 102.3 FM Secondary School Squeeze-Out Show and be the academic champions. Enroll your school with 2 students participating in mathematics, English, and general knowledge. Registration is 20,000 naira only. And what's more, your school gets massive promotion as long as they remain in the competition. Entry closes on the 18th of March 2023. For payment details and inquiries, please call 090-9719-8377. Eagles 102.3 FM Squeeze-Out Show. Building future champions today.
And the conversation continues. This is your radio experience you can count on. It is Eagles Outlook, and we're discussing, what's happening in the PDP with the chairman of the party set to be stepping aside, and the the deputy chairman North taking over the reins of the party. Also, some of the other developments. Former governor of Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha, steps down from the race to the governorship in Imo State. Now let's talk about the spate of suspensions in the People's Democratic Party. By the way, you can join the conversation now, 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. My guest is Emmanuel Ume, a member of the People's Democratic Party, and he's sharing thoughts with us. Quite an interesting conversation it's been. Now, Mr. Ume, let's go back and talk about, the suspensions that the party has seen. The party has suspended some bigwigs, some major members of the party, the likes of former Senate President Ayim Pius Anyim, Ayo Fayose, Ibrahim Shema, all of these strong, members of the party. Also, before the elections, we saw the suspension of former Governor Chimaroke Nnamani, or Senator Chimaroke Nnamani. All of these people, these are heavyweights in your party, all being suspended. Also, the governor of Benue State, referred to the disciplinary committee of the party. All of these things happening within the same period. What does this mean for the party? Do you think that the party can survive all of these people if they decide to leave the party, looking at the fact that they've been suspended?
Let me tell you the truth, right? I'm all in for saying that, okay, yes, people should work. But I believe that a political party should exert certain level of discipline. Because if you don't, at the end of the day, I believe the party is in a quagmire here, because some level of people will say, discipline them because they've shown open bias of antipathy. Another set of people will say, can we find a way of allowing everybody that have sinned and find a working solution to say, okay, how do we move our party forward? The deed has been done, Honestly speaking, that would be for the leadership of the party to take care of. I personally believe that we should find a way where we can work together. At this point, I think unity of the party is paramount. We're not contesting any election, aside the reruns. So, and then elections probably in November, and the elections, off-season elections in November. And you want a united political party. So, for me, I would say, find a way of resolving some of these issues. Those ones that have, if, for example, maybe certain circumstances make someone decide to do, maybe you listen to them. There are some people that I would say the party should do away with, personally. So the people like Chimaroke and Fayose, who they feel no remorse at all. How they are interested in denigrate the party and all that. If the party decides to suspend them or expel them, I don't really have any pity, because I'm sure you'll be seeing what someone like Chimaroki and Sayoshe have been doing. You cannot go on national television and denigrate the party. It is not about the national chairman or the national secretary or anybody. It is about the institution, what the party symbolizes. So you don't go and denigrate the party and then still come and you want the party. You are not setting good examples for younger ones and even other members, because what it shows that people can also do the same and then still get away with it. So that's where I have an issue. That's where I have an issue with them. Other than that, honestly speaking, it is the headache of the national leadership. And I believe that's why they are there. And then at this point, I believe that the BOT should step in and find a way of resolving some of these issues. There are some people that you could say, okay, maybe because of the fact that they are angry, but there's no justification of doing that party. But at the end of the day, find a way, a workable solution for everyone.
All right, let's bring in callers now. 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Hello, good morning.
Good morning once again, my friends. How are you?
Good morning, Mayowa. I'm
good
very
morning.
well.
Good morning to our guests. Let me start from where the last question you put. The emergence of Alhaji Abubakar Atiku as the presidential aspirant for the PDP is the cause of all the issues and problems within the PDP party. Because the truth must be told. The current administration in Nigeria is from the north, and he has run through his 8 years tenure. It only makes sense if we allow the power to keep, since this is what we believe in. Until when we change that arrangement, it just has to be honored and respected. And most of the people that they are suspending today, they are suspending them because of their hard position they take, because they believe in justice, equity, and balance. And since they are now in alliance with Atiku, then Atiku is the leader of the party as we speak, and maybe up to the point he lost the election. And because of that, those people were sidelined. That is by the way. On the issue of Ehedia, I think our guest is not, I want to select my word, it's not saying it the way it is. I don't want to use the word that is.
So how do you think it is?
Yes, Ehedia, before now, he has been going up and down saying that he's waiting for this man to finish his tenure and he will take over power. You are aware of all the things he has been saying, that he is the people's choice, this and that. How can you, at the close point, now say you are withdrawing? I think he's doing this because of the litigation. There is something that is dangling on his head now. Police are summoning him for the criminal conspiracy for the murder of a certain political person in Imo State. And the obvious fact that it's not likely that he's going to win that election. Why do I need to waste my resources and decide that will result in futility? And I think this is one of the reasons. If anybody is saying because of his current position, that's why. Which one is more juicy? Which one is more responsive or responsible? If it had been a governor to serve your people and you be in charge of the state, than to be in a national, as a national secretary or in a national party that is not in control of governance. Who is going to even fund the cleaning of their secretariat very soon? It's a challenge. Ehedra I think, is clever, and I think he's more intelligent than anybody by saying that he cannot go into this contest. Because if he go, he will not even win, whichever way. That is it. It is obvious. There's no need there to see anybody. For PDP to come back to power, they need to do a lot of reconciliation. And like Bola Ahmed Tinubu said before his election, he said when he comes to power, there will be no PDP again in Nigeria. You can take his word for market, because he's going to woo almost everybody in all these political. He did not even stop at PDP, including Labour Party, because he's going to bring everybody to the national table, and we are going to move for the development of Nigeria. There won't be any crisis in Nigeria. That's what he said. But let's wait and see. That's my say. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much for calling. And Mr. Emmanuel Ume, you just heard
I'm surprised that such people, I don't think such mentality we should even encourage such, See, for first, to start with, he's probably asking that, he wants a one-party state. And when you start saying that you want a one-party state, that's the result for anarchy. I'm just being honest with you. Probably you should go and read how democratic nations survive in one-party state. It's not something that you should be praying for. It's not something that you should be gloating and be happy that, oh, Tinubu said. And I say, I don't wish Tinubu bad, but let me tell you, even his best friends will not want him to have a one-party state because you will not see the best of Tinubu as the president. You want to see Tinubu perform, you need a viable opposition that will put him on his toes. So don't come here and come on. Then the other part of saying, there's a police report, that was a concocted report that Hope Uzodinma, the commissioner of police in the state, tried to used to intimidate Emeka. And when the IGP of police saw what was going on, head of it, he took the case away from the commissioner and said, let me investigate this. How will anybody in his right mind say that Emeka, the former deputy governor who served under Emeka, and Ikenga are the ones causing issues in Imo State? So you are saying that only these three people that belong to PDP are the ones causing issues in Imo State. Please, people should not, call to insult our sensibilities. On the other part about he knows he will lose, I've told you here, maybe he doesn't even know the issues. He is contesting with the national secretary of the party. And these things are clear issues like I explained. If you are the national secretary of the party going into an election where it is you that will sign, it is the national chairman and the national secretary that signs on your form, that will still sign on your clearance form. They are the ones, the signature that you see, that it is their signature that INEC recognizes. So how will you, as the national secretary, be contesting in an election where it is still your own signature? So when you are contesting, they clear you. After clearing you, it is still you that will sign. Does it make any sense? It's like saying the INEC chairman is contesting an election where he is the umpire, he is the referee. It doesn't make any sense, and that was part of the reasons why he said, if you want to contest this election, either you resign as the national secretary, or we go into a consensus. But he said he didn't want that, and Emeka looked at it and said it didn't make any sense. Where the national secretary is the one, maybe he doesn't know, the three ad hoc that you send, it is the national office that sends the people that will come and conduct the primaries. So if the national secretary is contesting, are you thinking that the people that they will send to come and contest will work against the national secretary? So there was no point. There's no point, contesting in such an election where you are invalidating something that doesn't even make any sense. And that's why he just said, for honor, for the party, I will step aside. It's not for somebody to come and call stations and just feel because you have access to phone and
let's bring in some more callers. So let's bring in some more callers now. 09073530044 and 09087668888. SMS and WhatsApp messages are welcome on 09097054450. Talking about, the recent activities or the recent developments in the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, so my name is Patrick.
Patrick.
And I'm Patrick, yes, I'm from Imo State.
Okay, go ahead, let's hear you.
I've been listening to your guest there. Well, you can say what you want to say, but he's not listening to people. Now, I think in the last 24 to 48 hours, a lot of things have happened in PDP, and being that Yochai has gone out, Tambua, who is very close, who Emeka Ihedioha is very close to, they are no longer in control of the party. We Chedemans are now in control of the party. And the Tamdadi, that is Ayaon, who is the secretary, is Nke's man. So Emeka, knowing very well that there's nothing for him, he knows that if people, because PDP is like a cult. I have run for this elective office in PDP. I understand the way they do. Even their primaries, everything is always controlled from the top. So Emeka knows that these wicked are now in control of the party. There's nothing for him.
When you say the Wike group is in control of the party, what do you mean? Because the acting chairman of the party is still an ally of the Atiku camp.
No, let me tell you. See what I mean now. What I mean is very simple. You see, you people in the media should help us to do some investigation before you invite all these politicians who will come and deceive people further. Now that as in Damagum, yes, he is there, but it's just a matter of time because the crux of the matter is that a Southerner must be the chairman. So this is just a process. Very soon, even Damagum will be removed because Wike and his group used the word, as in the word from Boko to remove the chairman, and then also these are things behind the scene. I don't need to come to understand this thing to be saying it. It shows that there's a powerful hand behind the scene that is orchestrating all these things. If you think it's just the word people, the people of the world, the village, as in the village, the word is not for, as in the villagers that went to court and obtained this judgment, and obtained this injunction hurriedly, then you don't know how you don't know how Nigeria functions. It shows that there is a hand behind all of these things that are happening.
Okay, Petrus, I would love us to talk about what is currently, what the facts are that we know, not the ones that we don't know, because whatever is going on underneath that we don't know, we may not be able to speak to. As it is.
If you want me, if you don't want to do investigative journalism, fine, you can go on with what you think the facts are, but I'm telling you that these are the facts, but they are behind the scenes facts, and very soon it will manifest. But if that, okay, that's the way you guys start journalism here. You just believe the lies this person tell you. No problem.
I'm sorry. You would not call any guest of mine a liar on the show. That's not acceptable. But then I understand what you're saying. When those facts begin to emerge and become public conversation, then we can begin to talk about them. Emmanuel, you want to respond to some people seem not to agree with some of the things that's playing out.
I'm sorry. See, that gentleman, it's obvious that he doesn't even know what he's saying. He said he contested. It's obvious he doesn't even have a good knowledge of what he's saying. To start with, the reason why Ayu was removed was because the governor and Ayu are not in the same. They're not in the same. They're not, politically aligned right now. Otom is obviously with the G5. Ayu is not, and anybody that come here and say, "Oh, they used word chairman," Ayu is from Benue State, and you don't need to put one and two together to know that it is Otom that used those his word. And it's not even all of them. Some of them have come out to say that they were kidnapped.
Now, one of the basis. Okay, let's look at the basis for his suspension by the ward level. They say he lost the election at his ward. He lost the election in the state. Even his polling unit was lost. He lost his polling unit. They also say he worked against the party in the governorship elections.
That's for the national chairman to his spokesperson to defend. I don't speak for the national chairman. I don't work for the national chairman. You understand? But I'm only setting the record straight. When he said Wike is in charge, Wike is not in charge of the PDP. Maybe he doesn't know. Demago is from Yobe State. Demago is not from a state where PDP doesn't have a governor in Yobe State. Secondly, the entire structure of Yobe is under Demago, and Demago is the strong ally of Atiku. Atiku was the father of the day when his daughter got married 2 years ago. The strong ally of Atiku. So when someone comes here and doesn't even know what is going on in the party and say, how will you say Tambuwal is not in charge of the party because Tambuwal is not in charge of what concerns Tambuwal again? As I speak to you today, Wike is not in charge of anything. For you to remove Damago today, first and foremost, let's even assume that the kangaroo gesture of using the courts to remove national chairman. As of today, now PDP doesn't even have a governor in Yobe State. So which governor doesn't even? And then you cannot even come out and say, "Oh, the governor of Yobe State, that is an APC member, will want to come and start interfering in what is in PDP." How?
So what is likely to happen if Ayu is not able to return as chairman of the party? Would the party hold a new convention to choose a new chairman? And where would that chairman most likely come from?
Listen, I explained certain things to you. So there was a difference between what happened under Secondus and what is happening under Ayu. Under Secondus had 3 months to the expiration of his tenure. It's a 4-year tenure. He had 3 more years before his tenure was going to be expired. Within that 3 months, that was when they suspended him. And even when he went to court, it was more or less like an exercise in futility because his tenure had already expired before. If you remember very well, it was in December 9th that they inaugurated the Ayu committee. They had to wait for the expiration of Secondus tenure before they did any, before they inaugurated them, because there's a court order that says they have to outlive their 4 years. Unlike Ayu still has 3 more years. And we are not having any convention because during the Secondus period, the NEC informed Secondus to go and initiate the convention committee. And he refused. So, unlike that, is a different scenario. So when somebody just comes here and doesn't even understand the working of the party, he just come and start saying, somebody is lying. You don't even know you don't even know the workings of the PDP, and you say somebody is lying.
All right, let's bring in a final caller before we close the program this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, seems like you're not responding. All right, Emmanuel, what would be your concluding thoughts as we leave this conversation for today? Looking at the fortunes of the party in general, if you're unable to win the suit in court, what would be the future of the party?
There was something he said about Sam Dadi being an ally of Wike. He doesn't even know that Sam Dadi and Wike have fallen out. 2 days ago, Wike was busy lashing out on Sam Dadi. So how will you now come out to say that say Sam Dadi and Wike are same? So he just to correct some of those lies that they try to project here. Say, Sam Dadi and Wike are falling out. He used to be an ally. It was obvious. Everybody knows that it was Wike that was instrumental to Sam Dadi being the national secretary of the party. But there are issues that after the primaries, when he felt that Sam Dadi shouldn't have signed the certificate of return when Atiku won the primaries, and he got angry. Like I said, it is the national chairman and the national secretary that signed those certificate of returns. So he was angry with Sam Dadi, and then their anger started, got so deep. So for anybody to come and say, that Sam Dadi and Wike are inclusive, obviously the person doesn't even know what he's saying.
All right.
For me, I would ask that, like I said earlier on, that the leadership, the BOT should step in and find a way of working solution out of this. If the party is going to enforce discipline, then that discipline must go around. It must not be selective suspension. You suspend these ones, you don't suspend. You suspend everybody that you feel that have done anti-party. If you now want to give an open blanket to say, okay, we're going to forgive some people, forgive everybody that and start on the clean sheet, it is now left for them to decide. Whichever decision is fine. But the most important thing as of today is that let nobody be rejoicing that an opposition party is having issues, because it is the opposition that will speak for you during when you have issues with party in power. No matter how much you dislike an opposition party, you do not wish an opposition party dead. And that's the hallmark of a democracy. If you say you want to practice one party system, that means you're no more practicing democracy. And whatever you see, you get. So So that's just what I want to do. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Lemay. This is where we drop the anchors on the program this morning. Thank you so much for your thoughts and time on the program. We really appreciate you. And, well, that's where we close it today. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of the conversation. We'll be talking more at the top of the hour, 9 tomorrow. But in the meantime, don't forget that you have a responsibility to ensure that this country stays united. For those who are calling for what they're calling for, please be careful what you ask for. You know how they say, be careful what you ask for, because it just may not even turn out to be the best for you. Stay with us on your radio experience you can count on. My name is Iheanacho Prince. Business News is up next. Right after that, we get on with the Midday Extra. Stay with us.
Eagles 102.3.